Someone at work says something nice to you. Your boss pulls you aside and tells you how much potential you have. A colleague says, "I'm rooting for you." HR sends you a message saying they want to check in. And you feel good. You feel seen. You feel like things are finally moving in the right direction. But here's what nobody tells you. Some of the most dangerous moments in your career don't come with warning signs. They come wrapped in compliments. In casual conversations. In phrases that sound like support, but are actually the beginning of a setup. And by the time you figure it out, the decision has already been made about you. Today, we're going to break down 4 phrases you've probably heard at work, phrases that sound completely normal, and show you exactly what's happening beneath the surface when someone says them to you. Hey, this is Delaney versus the system, and the office is not as safe as it looks. Most people go to work believing in a simple deal. You show up. You do your job. You stay out of drama. You perform well. And eventually, good things happen: a raise, a promotion, recognition, respect. It's a reasonable belief. It's what we're taught. But here's the uncomfortable truth: workplaces are not meritocracies. They are social and political systems disguised as meritocracies. And in social and political systems, the words people say are rarely just words. Every workplace has a hidden layer. A layer where decisions get made before meetings happen. Where someone's fate gets decided in a hallway conversation you were never part of. Where phrases that sound supportive are actually being used to manage you, minimize you, or quietly move you out of the picture. The problem is that most people are only listening to the surface. They hear the words. They miss the message. So let's fix that. Let's go one level deeper. The 4 phrases. Phrase 1, we just want to make sure you're set up for success. This one sounds like care. It sounds like your manager or HR is in your corner, thinking ahead, making sure you have what you need. But pay close attention to when this phrase appears. It almost never shows up when things are going well. It shows up right after a complaint was filed. After a meeting where your name came up in a conversation you weren't invited to. After someone above you has already started questioning your position. Here's the psychology behind it. When an organization has already made a decision about an employee, but hasn't communicated it yet, they need to create a paper trail. They need to document that they tried to help. That they offered support. That they gave you every opportunity to succeed. We want to make sure you're set up for success is often the opening line of that documentation. What follows is usually a performance improvement plan, an increase in supervision, or a restructuring of your role that slowly removes your responsibilities, one at a time, until the position you were hired for barely exists anymore. The phrase protects them. It positions the company as generous and supportive. And it positions you, should things go wrong, as someone who was given every chance and still didn't make it. If you hear this phrase, especially suddenly, especially after things seemed fine, don't panic. But do pay attention. Ask specific questions. Get clarity in writing. And start documenting your own contributions before someone else starts writing your narrative for you. Phrase 2, I just want to be honest with you because I respect you. Someone pulls you aside. Maybe it's a colleague. Maybe it's your manager. They lower their voice slightly, lean in like they're about to share something important, and they say, I'm only telling you this because I genuinely respect you. And then they deliver some piece of information. Maybe a criticism. Maybe a rumor. Maybe a warning about how other people perceive you. Here's what's happening. That opening line, I respect you, is a disarming technique. It's designed to lower your defenses before delivering something that could destabilize you. Because if someone says they respect you, you're less likely to question their motives. You're more likely to receive what comes next as truth rather than strategy. In reality, this phrase is frequently used by people who are managing your perception of a situation to benefit themselves. Think about it. If someone truly respected you and had genuinely useful information, they would just tell you. Directly. Cleanly. The preamble, I respect you, I'm being honest with you, I'm only saying this because I care, is performative. It's packaging. And good packaging usually means the product inside needs a little help selling itself. The information they share might be real. It might be distorted. It might be completely manufactured. But the goal is almost always the same: to make you doubt yourself, doubt others, or take an action that benefits the person speaking to you. The smarter move: listen without reacting. Thank them calmly. Verify anything they say through your own independent observation. And remember, in workplace politics, the person who performs concern the loudest is rarely the most trustworthy person in the room. Phrase 3, we're giving you this opportunity to grow. This one is tricky because it sounds like a reward. You're being asked to take on a new project. Lead an initiative. Handle something high visibility. And the way it's framed makes it feel like recognition. Like your company sees something in you. But here's what you need to look at carefully: what kind of opportunity is it, exactly? Because in many organizations, there are two types of high visibility opportunities. The first type is a genuine stepping stone, a project with executive support, adequate resources, a clear path, and a real chance to succeed. The second type is what some organizational psychologists call a glass cliff. It's a project that's already struggling. A role that nobody else wanted. An initiative that leadership quietly knows is likely to fail, but that they need someone to be publicly responsible for when it does. The phrase, we're giving you this opportunity to grow, can be code for, we need someone to take the blame if this doesn't work, and we've chosen you. This happens disproportionately to employees who are already being managed out, to people who are seen as expendable, and, research has shown, to people from marginalized groups who are given leadership precisely when the stakes are lowest and the risk of failure is highest. How do you tell the difference? Ask questions before you say yes. Who had this role before? Why is it available? What does success look like and how will it be measured? What resources and support will you have? What does the decision-making process look like? If the answers are vague, if leadership seems disinterested in the details, if nobody can clearly articulate what winning looks like, that's information. And it's information you should take seriously before you step into something that was already designed to fall. Phrase 4, let's just have an informal conversation. HR reaches out. Your manager says they want to grab a quick coffee. Someone above you suggests a casual chat, off the record, no agenda, totally informal. And because it's framed as informal, you relax. You're more candid than you would be in an official meeting. You might vent a little. Share how you really feel about a colleague or a decision. Say things you wouldn't say if you knew someone was taking notes. Here is the thing about informal conversations in corporate environments. There is no such thing. Every conversation at work, regardless of how it's framed, is information. And information in a workplace gets used. Sometimes it gets used immediately. Sometimes it gets stored and referenced months later in a context you never anticipated. The informal conversation framing is a deliberate strategy to access the unfiltered version of you. The version that hasn't run things through the professional filter. Because that version tends to reveal things, frustrations, alliances, ambitions, fears, that the formal version would never share. And those revelations? They go somewhere. They inform decisions. They shape how you're perceived. They become part of how people talk about you in rooms you're not in. This doesn't mean you should become paranoid or robotic at work. Authentic relationships matter. But it does mean you should notice when an informal conversation is initiated by someone with institutional power over you, your manager, HR, a senior leader, and treat it with the same thoughtfulness you'd bring to any formal interaction. You can be warm. You can be human. You can connect. Just don't confuse informality with safety. Here's the deeper thing that ties all four of these phrases together. They all share one common psychological function: they manage your perception while protecting the organization's position. This is not always malicious. Some managers use these phrases unconsciously, because they were trained in environments where this is just how things are done. Some HR professionals genuinely believe they're being supportive even as they follow a script designed to insulate the company from liability. But whether it's intentional or not, the effect is the same. You walk away feeling reassured, supported, included. And while you're feeling that way, a process is already underway that you haven't been made fully aware of. The organizations that are best at this are the ones that have mastered the art of making employees feel valued right up until the moment they are no longer valued. It's a form of institutional emotional management, and most employees aren't taught to recognize it because recognizing it would make it less effective. So, what do you actually do with this information? First, don't become cynical. Cynicism makes you rigid, reactive, and ultimately less effective at navigating these environments. What you want to be is discerning. Pay attention to timing. Most of these phrases become significant not because of what they say, but because of when they appear. A sudden increase in check-ins, a new layer of supervision, an unexpected opportunity, a casual conversation initiated by someone who never sought one before. Timing is context. Document your work consistently. Don't wait until something feels wrong. Keep a running record of your contributions, your results, your communication. If a narrative ever starts being built about you, you want to have your own version already written. Ask clarifying questions calmly and without accusation. When someone tells you they want to set you up for success, ask what that looks like specifically. What would success mean? How will it be measured? When? This does two things: it gives you information, and it signals that you are paying attention. And finally, invest in relationships that exist outside the chain of command. Mentors in other departments. Former colleagues. Professional networks outside your company. Because when your value in a company starts to be questioned from the inside, external validation and external options are what protect you. The hardest part about workplace setups is that they rarely feel like setups when they're happening. They feel like support. Like opportunity. Like someone finally noticing you. And that's exactly what makes them work. The people who survive corporate environments, not just survive, but thrive, are the ones who learn to listen to two conversations at once. The one being spoken out loud. And the one happening underneath. Because in the workplace, words are rarely just words. They are moves in a game that's already being played, whether you know it or not. The question is whether you're playing it too. Thank you guys for watching.